from downtown Spokane. This is 4 News Now at 6:30.
More than 2 years of the pandemic with remote learning have changed many students' lives, particularly students entering middle school. In-person learning mixed with starting at a brand new school can be anxiety-inducing for some students. Our Peter Choi spoke to one local mom whose son is struggling with the start of the school year.
If you have a child in middle school right now, you might notice they're a little more shy and maybe a little more on edge over certain things in terms of stress. Now, over 2 years ago, your middle schooler was thrust into isolation because of COVID. Now, one parent I talked to on Wednesday says her kid sometimes misses school, not because of virus, but because of anxiety.
For me, it's just like something sitting on my chest.
It was in the middle of the 5th grade when this student started experiencing emotional challenges almost every day. He doesn't want to be on camera. After the pandemic forced him into virtual learning, returning to in-person learning, then moving on to middle school is ramping up his anxiety.
Just used to everything being virtual. And now that I'm back with pen and paper, with people in the classroom, it's just really hard for me to focus.
It wasn't just in the classroom.
The hallways are where it's the worst. Just like a group of people all crowding around.
But now the overwhelming feeling of being surrounded by so many students at school.
Remember people's names and talk to people. With virtual learning, you couldn't really make friends. Nobody really had interest in talking to anybody else.
His mom says the pandemic stunted her son's social growth. Sometimes it was difficult to make it throughout the day.
Really started discovering depression, which I would assume started while he was at home, but became more obvious as he went into the junior high in the school setting. Had a lot of anxiety, started having panic attacks, and just really struggled to even make it throughout the day.
And Spokane public school educators are seeing this pattern of anxiety in more students since the pandemic began in 2020.
Who would have spent 6th grade at an elementary school are now going up to middle school. And so I think that just that shift in dynamic of who is at the middle schools is increased the kiddos who are needing mental health services in those buildings.
And they encourage families to destigmatize mental health for those needed. So how do you start at that conversation?
Kids won't know the exact trigger of what is preventing them from wanting to be at school or be in social situations, right? So just normalizing that first.
And parents can contact school administrators and counselors if they want to explore mental health services. And more therapists are now available on site throughout the district. In Spokane, Peter Choi, 4 News Now.